let us invite Dr. Shilpa Sumant to Bharat Ashya Sanstha's YouTube channel. And she is a reputed scholar and has recently written an article on Madhuparka ritual, which is published in the Annals of Bandapur Oriental Research Institute, 2000, the latest edition. She has been working with the Deccan College in the lexicography department and has been assistant editor of the Vedic texts which are being now produced at Deccan College. So, welcome, madam, to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And congratulations.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, and congratulations for the wonderful article which has been published in Hori.
Yes.
And I will be wanting to know a little bit about the article first. What prompted you to work on that article, Madhuparka?
Okay. So the thing is that I'm editing one ritual manual from the Paipalada school of Atharva Veda.
Okay.
The name of that text is Karma Panchika.
Right.
And currently I'm dealing with the marriage ritual of that tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And in marriage tradition, in marriage ritual, you have this Madhuparka ritual. And that is why I thought of working on this Madhuparka ritual. Actually, in the Atharva Veda tradition, both the shakhas, Shaunaka as well as Paipalada.
Okay. Now, for the lay people who don't know much about the Vedic heritage, as far as I know a little bit, we know that the Vedic heritage is basically, they begin with the Veda Trayi, the three Vedas, Rig, Sam, Yajur. How do you place,
Yes.
how do you place Atharva Veda in the timeline of Vedic history?
Okay, so if we think of the solemn tradition, sacrificial tradition of the Vedic people, Atharva Veda has actually in the beginning it did not have any place in the solemn ritual, because Atharva Vedic stuff, all the hymns, the mantras of Atharva Veda, not all, most of them, they are related to the happiness and goals to be achieved in the present world and not in the other world. So the basic purpose of Vedic sacrifices is that of achieving the heaven, that is the other world. So basically the scholars of the three Vedas, that is Veda Trayi, as you said,
Yes.
the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda and Sama Veda. So the followers of these three Vedas, they did not consider Atharva Veda as Veda at all in the beginning.
Okay.
But historically speaking, if you want me to put it in the tradition, the timeline, so historically speaking, what happened is that some of the hymns of Atharva Veda were very early, which may be said contemporary to the later hymns of Rig Veda.
Okay.
So as you know, the hymns of Rig Veda also were not composed in one single period. So it is a work of different generations together, which was compiled together in Samhita. So Rig Vedic hymns, some of them were quite earlier and some of them were little later. And the beginning hymns of Atharva Veda can be contemporary to the later hymns of Rig Veda.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So historically speaking, the sequence of the Vedas would be Rig Veda, then Atharva Veda, and Yajur Veda and Sama Veda. In this manner, we can place Atharva Veda historically.
The chronology with which Dr. Sumant gives of Vedic heritage is also it also raises a few questions, because she says that she puts it in the order of Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda, and then Sama Veda. But in my article, which titled "Focalization in Vedic and Modern Day Dhrupad Vocal Music Stories," published in Anaphora, Journal of Language, Literary and Cultural Studies, Volume 4, Number 1, July 2021, I clearly point out to rishis as old as Grit Samad Rishi. They knew Sama, Prajapateya Harjam. So, and this is the reference comes in Pandya 2005, 5 and 6, page number 5 and 6. So, in fact, in more than 30 places in Rig Veda and Yajurveda, the mention of Samaveda is there. And as I told you, in Gritsamad Rishi is one of the very earliest Rishis. So putting Atharva Veda in the chronology in that manner is again questionable. So the entire idea of chronology itself, an Indological product, is dubious.
Ritually speaking, as I said, Atharva Veda was not for the sacrificial purpose. So basically it was kept aside from the three Vedas. But later on, common people as well as scholars, Vedic scholars, they realized the importance of Atharva Veda, and somehow after some time they included Atharva Veda into the four Vedas. And later on in Kautilya Arthashastra and in other texts also, we find that a king has to have a priest who knows Atharva Veda, Atharva Vedic hymns and Atharva Vedic rituals.
Okay.
So in this manner, Atharva Veda came into picture.
So to put it in simple words, the Veda Trayi are the Alaukik purposes, and Atharva Veda is a more Laukik in the sense.
Yes,
so
true.
Putting it simply, in very simple words. But now if you go to see in the world...
yes, means more or less we can say.
Okay. So, but current situation is such that there are hardly, I do not know whether there are anybody who can recite the Atharva Veda mantra, and in the kind of santha which we say, or in the accentuations of the original Atharva Veda. Why is it that a later Veda, so-called Veda, got quickly extinct and the older Veda did not become extinct?
Okay, the rituals of Atharva Veda were a little bit not what we can say. They were a little bit strange for common people, though they were for common people. But a large part of Atharva Veda was full of, as you know, full of black magic thing. So somehow the followers of Atharva Veda at some point thought that they were a little bit backward in the sense that they were performing these kinds of rituals, and the followers and the reciters of Atharva Veda they felt a little bit diffident about their Veda, because the specific rituals in their tradition were not seen in the other three Vedas. So though Atharva Veda got the position of Veda, it was not wholeheartedly, let us say, accepted. And that is why the people who were performing various rituals through Atharva Vedic mantras and Atharva Vedic practices, they were a little bit kept aside from the society. Okay. And so this is one thing. And so basically the people who were following Atharva Veda, their number was very limited.
Okay.
And but still, even in the last century, we can see that in the 20th century also we see that there were so many Vedic reciters, so many Atharva Vedic reciters, and but somehow in general the tradition didn't become very strong, and that is why they had many lengthy rituals. The followers didn't have time to follow those rituals, let us say. So because of all these factors, somehow they didn't get many followers, and that is why somehow slowly, gradually the tradition disappeared. Basically, the Atharva Vedic tradition was in practice in Maharashtra. Then in Gujarat, some parts of Rajasthan, that is in Western Maharashtra, especially we see the Shaunaka tradition of Atharva Veda. Okay. And the other tradition of Atharva Veda, that is Vaipalada, that we see in Orissa or Jharkhand. And still the people there, they are still following this tradition. So you may not find any Shaunaka Atharva Veda in Maharashtra or Gujarat and in Western Maharashtra particularly. Okay. But in East India, you will see that there are followers of Atharva Vedic tradition.
Right. So very nice that you gave some idea about the geography also. So this was the traditional geography. This did not change, or was it like this? The same geography existed for many years.
For maybe recent 4, 5 or more than that. For last 10 centuries, we can say this was the geography.
Okay. The same geography continues till now. Okay.
Yes.
Now coming, madam, to your article, this particular Madhuparka which you have written about, it is basically an Atharva Vedic tradition, is it?
No, it is not Atharva Vedic tradition. My article is based or focuses on Atharva Vedic tradition. But Madhuparka is the ritual which is found in all the Vedic shakhas of the other 3 Vedas also. So this particular ritual is seen in the Gruhya Sutras. That is the domestic ritual manuals,
yes.
All the Vedic shakhas, Rigveda, Yajurveda as well as Samaveda.
Okay.
So this particular ritual Madhuparka is for, let us say, for welcoming the guest.
Right.
So this ritual, the main purpose of this ritual is for welcoming the guest, and not everybody is who visits your house is eligible for getting this respect from you. So the Gruhya Sutras they give clear guidelines who is eligible to get this Madhuparka. So among them is your teacher, then the priest who comes to your house for performing sacrifices for you. Then it is the king who comes to your house. Then it is the Vedic scholar, Vedic student. Snataka is the word for Vedic student. So the one who has completed his study. So if he visits your house, then he is eligible to get Madhuparka. And lastly, the bridegroom. So the bridegroom of your daughter, when he comes for wedding, that time he is given Madhuparka. So these are only persons who are eligible to get Madhuparka.
Okay.
And what is this Madhuparka? Actually, Madhuparka is a kind of mixture. It is a mixture of madhu, naturally, honey. And along with honey, what is mixed is clarified butter and curds, dadhi and ghurta. Okay. So these 3 things, they are put together and they are given to the person who has come as a guest to your house.
Right.
So this is this Madhuparka. Actually, the mixture which is given, it is also called Madhuparka, and the act of giving is also called Madhuparka.
Okay. Now a little bit about the 4. Now, if we consider 4 Vedas, can you pinpoint differences between Madhuparka ritual in Atharva Veda and the other 3?
Yes, definitely. So basically, there are 5 or 6 main acts in this particular ritual.
Okay.
So while welcoming the guest, even in present days, what we do, we invite him. Then first he washes his feet. Then we offer him seat. So the same things are seen in the Madhuparka ritual. So the first thing is that to offer the guest some water for washing his feet. It is called Adya. Then to offer him a seat. In those days, the seats were prepared from grass. So the grass seat, it is called Vishtara. And that seat is offered to the guest. He sits on that Vishtara. Then the person who gives Madhuparka, he offers, the host, let us say, he offers him Arghya. Arghya is Gandhodaka. So it is scented water given for respect. So that giving of Arghya is another thing. Then after that, he gives in him Achamaniya, that is sipping water. So water for drinking, let us say. Then he offers this mixture called Madhuparka.
Okay.
Then for welcoming the guests, some special meals are prepared. So in Madhuparka, it was said that a cow is to be offered to the guest. Okay. So the cow is to be offered naturally for its beef. The beef is to be offered. So that was one thing. I will come to this part again of offering a cow, either killing or releasing it. That is a different part that we have to deal in details. But I'm just explaining the things what are there in Madhuparka. And after that, he offers him meals. So these are the main acts in Madhuparka in all the Vedic traditions. Okay. So where is the difference then? The difference is in the mantras which are accompanied with these acts.
Okay.
Usually while offering these things are, so while offering, the person says 3 times that I am offering this thing to you. Padyam, 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 Madhubarkam, Madhubarkam, Madhubarkam. Like this, he is giving, he's announcing the thing to be offered for 3 times. This practice is not seen in the Atharva Veda tradition. This is one difference. The main difference, I told you that the difference is of the mantras. So in other Vedic traditions, the mantras are different, and in Atharva Veda tradition, the mantras are different.
Okay.
And one more interesting thing about the mantras is that in Atharva Veda tradition, we do not see the mantras coming from the Samhita itself. So it is the sutra text, that is Kaushika Sutra of Atharva Veda, which gives the mantras to be recited while performing these acts.
Okay.
So these mantras, they are called Sautra mantras. That is the mantras coming in the sutra.
Right.
So these are two main differences which we see from other Vedic traditions and Atharva Vedic tradition.
And other things are all the same. Food and everything is all the same.
Yes, the food and other things, they are same. So let me come to the important point of offering the cow.
Okay.
So in Vedic tradition also we see a rule that na amauso madhuparko bhavati. So madhuparka ritual is never without offering meat, mausa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in ancient times, it seems that there was a practice of offering meat to the guest. And that meat is beef, particularly cow, who is barren cow. That cow is to be killed when the guest comes to your place. So the very first reference of this we find in the Aitareya Brahmana of Rigveda, where it is said that when some special guest is coming, you have to kill either a bull or a barren cow to welcome him. Okay. So this we see. So it is a very long tradition of offering beef, and because at some point people turn to vegetarianism. So offering cow or any other animal, in fact, the practice didn't get approval from the society, I guess, and that is why in later sutra texts we find that you should be ready to offer. But if your guest doesn't want to eat the beef, then that cow may be released. So even in Kaushika Sutra of Atharva Veda, we find that the cow is offered to the guest, and then he says, the host asks, should I kill this cow? And then the guest says, no, we do not get permission for this. And then the cow is released.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So after that, Madhuparka remained in only one thing, that is to offer these mixtures of honey, curds, clarified butter, or there are some other things also which are discussed by Kaushika, that these are to be included while giving Madhuparka, and offering normal meals without flesh.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes in between, sometimes we see that some Griha Sutras they prescribe other animals such as goat, etc. For killing. But later on, that practice also is not seen in later times, and only offering of clarified butter, honey, and curds together as Madhuparka, that practice is still prevailing in the society.
Okay. I do not think that we can rule out the possibility of mouse being a wrong mispronunciation or a wrongly written word in the rewritten manuscripts from Mansh. Because there is one point which comes to my mind all the time, is that when we refer to some manuscripts, original manuscripts, they are obviously rewritten and rewritten, right? So you may be referring to a critical edition of some manuscript, right? So
Yes.
How do we ensure that, for example, now the last thing which you said about mouse, how do we ensure that it was not Mansh, it was Mans? How do we ensure that?
Actually, in all the manuscripts, if we get the reading mouse, then it is sure that it is Mausa.
So,
And as you say, this Masha is a kind of grain,
yes.
right? You want to say that only.
Yeah, dal.
So that Masha is also a kind of substitute for flesh only. But in any case, in all the brewing, we find the reading Mausa only. So it is for sure that it was in the beginning. It was intended. What was intended was a cow.
Mouse.
Yes, Mausa only.
As Dr. Sumant was saying, that even the maunsh or the block of urad dal, which is kept in front of the Devi or Devta or Yagya, whatever particular context it is cut. But that is not. It is a presumption. It is an assumption that it is a replacement for cutting an animal. I mean, this is a circular kind of argument. When I ask that, if I ask that is sir is a mispronunciation, interpolation, or misrepresentation of sure, from marsh it may have become mouse, either by interpolation, by some mischief, or by mistake or whatever, and then that has been followed throughout. The answer which Professor Sumant is giving, it makes it a circular argument, because she's saying that it is marsh is also is a sort of a replacement for cutting. So she's assuming what she has to prove in this particular statement. So
Mausa only.
no. So and here
Yes, and in Kaushika Sutra we.
Yes.
Let me finish this. In Kaushika Sutra, instead of a Mausa, we find the word Lohita. Lohita means blood. So there has to be bloodshed.
Yes, it's not that.
What he says.
Yes, is that also, I was speaking to some experts, so they said that Lohita is also the red color of the honey, because unless you make it red, you cannot offer it. That is the meaning of na lohito madhuparka bhavati.
Madhuparka.
So that is somebody's interpretation. What do you have to say about it?
As a student of Atharva Veda, I will say, or in Vedic texts, I would say that Alohita is just a synonym or another word used for a Mausa. So in my opinion, Alohita definitely means without blood. So it should not be without blood. That means there has to be blood of certain animal involved in that. But later on, also we see that the cow, it is actually brought in the ritual, and then she is released. So in my opinion, Lohita is the flesh only. So and honey is indispensable part of Madhuparka, because the name is coming from Madhu. So the red color of honey, etc., means for me. And other thing is that I have not seen this interpretation. Please give me the reference. I will go through it and then will form a firm opinion about it.
Yes. The assumption that Lohita means mass and mass means beef is a very convoluted argument. There are also other meanings of Lohita. So why doesn't the professor consider the other meanings of Lohita? For example, Mars is also called Lohitang. So Mars is why it is called Lohitang, not because there is blood in Mars, but because it is red in color. So the color is always the central theme of the word Lohita. It is not related to the material. The professor stresses the double assertion of the word Madhu as red, and disqualifies the meaning that the Madhuparka should be red in color, because there is a double assertion. But in the Na Alohita argument also, there is a double negative. Why should a double negative be used? Na Alohito. Why this should be used in that way? The more likely Sandhi Vichhed could be Na Alohita, which also leads to the word Na Lohita. Monier Williams gives various meanings of Lohita, in which predominantly he gives meaning in as red. But there is also a word called Alohita, which also means red. It is not a negative of Lohita. Alohita is an adjective. Therefore, the Sandhi Vichhed which Professor Sumant does is na alohito. So she's using two negatives and making it na alohito. But if we consider alohita as being read, then the word nalohito means madhuparka should be without blood. Na alohito madhuparka bhavati. That's another thing. But now the other thing is about releasing the cow. Okay, now I was talking to some people. The question was that why should a household keep tie down a cow which does not give milk, which is barren? Why it should keep it at all? Because the logic does not fit. They say that if suppose I have a barren cow, I'll release it. No? In the olden days, they would do it. They would release it. Why they should keep it? And then when the guru or acharya comes, then you release it. What is the logic behind this?
The original purpose was not of releasing, actually. And releasing means it was not just released from the house; it was kept in the house itself. Okay. So usually the people they have affection for their animals. Uh-huh. So they were not really leaving the animals if they are not productive in the sense of production of milk, etc.
Uh-huh. With due respect to her great scholarship, I see the contradictions. Like, for example, she mentions that the cow is a sort of a member of the family, and they would not release the cow if into wilderness if she stopped giving milk, or if she stopped giving she's become unproductive. So if that is the case, if that is the kind of bonding which a family has with the cow, how is it that the cow would be slaughtered? They cannot be reconciled, these two facts.
And so one thing is that basically it was for killing. So the tradition came from a long time of killing the cows. And in that case, the cow is to be chosen, which is not productive. And that was the purpose of getting a barren cow or a bull.
Now, if I look at your article, the reference section of your article, there are about 1/3 of your references are Western authors. 1/3 of your references, not all, and most of the references they belong to before 1930s. So I want to know: have the modern Westerners stopped talking about these subjects now, or is it that only Indians are, like you have written an article on this, only Indians are interested in this? What is the reason? Didn't you get any references of modern times?
No. The thing is that basically the references which I'm using, all of them are primary sources. Yeah. So usually, if a good edition is from old times, let us say, as you say, from 1879 or like that. Uh-huh. So usually they are referred to. There are, let us say, there are reprints of these texts are available in modern times also. But in Indological field, the way of giving reference is to refer to the earliest edition of that particular text. Okay. So that is why I have given all the references of the earliest traditions.
But a number of questions remain unanswered, and I also see some contradictions which in the talk itself, and then I also have spoken to a manuscriptologist, Dr. Bapat, at the same Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, and also the great scholar Dr. G.U. Thite. So there seems to be a sort of a consensus between amongst Indologists, especially preferring Western scholars in the analysis of Sanskrit texts. But Dr. G.U. Thite has very categorically said in my discussion with him that he says that no, even in tradition, you see people pronouncing it as sir, not sure. Professor G.U. Thite has got a very clear bias for the Europeans or the Western scholars. He has his good reasons for doing it, but then it is a bias. Now, my argument for the Mass and Marsh rationale which Dr. Thite gives, he says that because the traditionalists are also saying Mass, not Marsh, so it is Maus. So my counter to that is when a manuscript is written, rewritten, and rewritten, the last manuscript which is being followed, if it has got a mistake, then that mistake is carried forward, and it is we see it even today in Gurukulas. Because when I did my Samaveda project, in that the swaras which were being applied were wrong. So they are depending on the Sanhita, even in the Gurukula. So if the Sanhita itself has got wrong things written in it, and that is being followed, so the errors will be there even in the traditional Gurukulas. So today's traditional practices are also to be checked. There is another objection which I have regarding the pronunciation of Maus and the reasoning which has been given by Professor Sumant, is that she says that Maus is a pronunciation which you see in traditional practices also. That's what even Professor Dr. Geothite has said. But if you go to Bihar, if you go to eastern parts of UP and many parts of UP also, they usually don't pronounce sh at all, or the sh. They don't pronounce these separately. They all, for sir, sh and sh, they pronounce it as sir. The other aspect is that maybe at some point of time, some of the Western scholars, the colonial scholars, must have done some doctoring on that, and those doctored Sanhitas must have percolated down everywhere due to the power of the British. There are grey areas which Dr. Geothite also has said. So we cannot really come to a conclusion. So friends, let's thank Professor Sumant for explaining to us her perspective of the Madhuparka ritual, which she has referred to in the context of Atharva Veda. Thank you.